It was a year ago now that a girl named Fiona leaked a phone call of Christian admitting to doing the dirty with his mother. Bedlam ensued. On the other end of the call was a gleeful and encouraging malefactor named Isabella Loretta Janke, and amid said bedlam, she tried her best to kick up as much confusion as possible. She was even briefly successful, convincing a morbidly obese content creator with 50,000 subscribers to make a video echoing the lies she was pushing and accusing Fiona of pretty much everything she was actually responsible for. However, the truth tends to find a way, especially where kiwi farms and the power of autism are concerned. The findings on the farms brewed a social media storm around Bella's long history of abusing friends, animals, and fellow college students. Thanks to big-name content creators and the fans who follow them, an otherwise incompetent Texas Tech University was forced to confront their failure to address her and her sick cohorts, despite multiple earlier complaints. And for the first time in her life, a sadistic daughter of millionaires was meted with a small bit of justice. Now that storm has subsided, but there are two types of people in this world. Those capable of changing and those incapable of changing. And in all things, Bella is incapable. I'd wager big that being related to Christian schlepping his mother won't be the last time she pushes too far in her cruelty and attracts a microscope's attention on social media. With interest waned, I think now is an appropriate time to share as much as I reasonably can about my behind-the-scenes dealings with Miss Janke and her lovely family for the few who still care, simply to dispel any notion of her reformation and encourage anyone who ever interacts with her to remain vigilant. Let's start with her father, Mike. I actually had email correspondence with Mike around the time I stopped streaming. As some of you might know, at the time he had been doing several long-form interviews with podcasters with tiny audiences, usually about military service or cybersecurity. Since he seemed to enjoy talking to nobodies and we actually run in a few of the same circles, I asked him if he'd be willing to talk about, well, anything with me, not necessarily his daughter. He politely declined. My offer is always open to him, as I think he and I would have a unique and insightful conversation, but out of respect for our correspondence, that is all I have to say about that. Next, I must speak at length about Athena Pettit, Bella's mother, although doing so leaves a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. First, a correction. Remember when I pointed out those burner YouTube accounts that tend to have male first names and single-letter last names that make lengthy posts defending Bella and Athena? You know, the ones that repeatedly try to muddy the emotional waters by calling people covering Bella pedophiles and just making crap up. Based on that sock puppeteer's post on kiwi farms and desire to direct trolls to Mike Janke and his new wife, I initially believed it was Athena. Shortly before I made the last Bella video, others convinced me it was Bella, which I wanted to believe given, well, Athena being 60 damn years old. However, I was unfortunately right in my initial presumption. It was Athena. I mentioned this last year and intended to share it on stream, but never did. I reached out to a professional for a phasal analysis of the legendary 2006 Blogspot post gushing over Athena Pettit across her master's thesis to see if it supports my theory that she wrote the post herself. The results showed strong similarities between the authors of both works, in other words indicating a good possibility that Athena did write the blog post. This unsurprising result isn't worth too much of your time, not only because even the strongest correlations aren't proof, but because Athena confirmed it by deleting the post 16 years after she wrote it in December of 2021. She did nothing else on that ancient Blogspot account, Matt Hale, including forgetting to delete a second post months later that hyperlinked the original self-relation. Keep that December-ish time frame in mind, it'll come up again later. As for my direct interactions with Miss Pettit, Athena reached out to me via Twitter in November of 2021. Yes, she verified her identity. I asked her to take a selfie with my name, my address, and her ID, and she did it. Anyway, here are the highlights. At her request, I removed her name from the tags of the video that mentioned her and was also willing to remove and correct anything she could prove was false in any of my videos. You may be wondering why I'd be willing to do that for a woman who accused me of child porn possession, invoked my dear sister's name, and worst of all, defended Bella stank. And the answer is simply as a show of good faith. I legitimately hate Bella and anyone who enables her, but I'm not vindictive. Also bear in mind her focus on her search engine results. In our correspondence, Athena claims the Instagram, the blog post, and the sock puppetry weren't her, but we know the latter two are. The odd duck out there is the Instagram profile, which I didn't even highlight but merely included a screenshot of. She mentions it because it's a lone truth. It seems mixing truths and half-truths kinds of runs in the family. She's right. The Instagram was Bella. Bella loves making myriad accounts impersonating the people she knows in real life, be it former chess club friends or her family. She also continuously encouraged me to engage her in a text message conversation saying she knows I have her number. I don't. After getting my name and address, she deleted the Twitter account before I could reply. A week later, I receive a letter from the same Lambert worldwide law firm I dogged on in the last video requesting I remove this channel's Bella playlist. A second correction, shame on me for saying most of the Kiwi Farms letter was influenced by Bella. Clearly, most of this is influenced by Control-C and Control-V. Nice. I responded to the letter the same way I responded to Athena, proffering a compromise on any false information. I received no response. So a month goes by. I'm dormant on YouTube. Bella is suspended from TTU. and all is well in the world. This is when Bella's attempt at manipulating search engine results for her name by inundating the internet with weird crap begins. Everyone noticed this, but it slightly irked me that no one gave notice to the same search engine optimization happening for Athena Pettit. Everyone was always infatuated with Mike Janke because of his illustrious career, and rightfully so, but I was always of the opinion that more attention should have been paid to Athena as her primary enabler and benefactor. Perhaps I'm biased because of my history with crazy single mothers, though. Another month goes by. The video that mentions Athena receives 5 copyright complaints, and they're all concerned with the few timestamps that mention her. I suppose it goes to show that Miss Pettit wasn't exactly honest in her final message to me, but you probably already gleaned that from her vacillation between sweetening me up in DMs and flaming me in my comments. Thankfully, they fail. I guess YouTube only cares about privacy complaints from pedophiles like Aaron Chard. Sorry, I had to. Yet another month goes by, and I receive an email from a throwaway account advising me to take down every video I've made about Bella and Athena, even though Athena is only part of one, and that the next time I make content, I will be served. The email also directs me to check my mailbox at the same address I gave Athena, but unless her master plan was sending me Chinese restaurant coupons, nothing ever came. And for now, that's the extent of what I feel comfortable sharing about my dealings with Miss Pettit. There's slightly more, not terribly interesting, and more advantageous for me to keep to myself, but let's see what happens after this video. Finally, let's move on to the fungal queen herself. This update on Bella won't be comprehensive. I'm going to try to stick to the interesting bits. So let's start with the last piece of information I wish to correct, and 100% of credit goes to Kiwi farmer Greasy Spoon for it. This picture, this infamous picture. It's doctored to all hell, which we knew at the time, but I'm pointing this out to shame myself for my role in propagating it. We know big boys like Turkey Tom who wouldn't associate with Kiwi Farms directly used my first video in making his own. Thank you, Andy Worski. So I tend to roll my eyes knowing Bella gets a bit of what she wants because of me whenever this picture is used. It's actually from a fake ID she made. She combined her own ID with a stolen one belonging to Simoy Silvana Rita to build it. I won't share Miss Rita's, obviously Bella has already made her the victim of identity theft, but here's the original. Not quite the girl you guys all want to have sex with, huh? If only out of spite, I'm tempted to go back and change the thumbnails of those old videos. Regarding TTU, she's no longer enrolled there, and I no longer have any contact with Bella's victims. It's my understanding that she applied to Santa Fe Community College, but I can't presently share my source on that, and as far as I know, she isn't enrolled there either. Regarding her legal troubles, Kiwi farmers Anonymous and Blue Maya Placidus observed not only her criminal possession of a weapon charge in New York disappearing, but her getting 2 speeding tickets on the same day in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. I don't know anything they don't, but I want to echo the sentiment of how strange it is that nothing ever comes of her charges with them dropping off the face of the earth. What do you guys think? Regarding her search engine optimization attempts, Isabella has done pretty much the same as her mother and tried to flood the internet with fake results for her name. We've known this for a while. My personal favorite was always the Andrew Kiriakou page that was dormant for 3 years with videos that were solitary pictures under a repeated title until releasing the magnum opus, Isabella Janke in all caps. But I believe it was Kiwi Farms user Michael Janke, great username by the way, who was the first to point out the shoddy cartoons. This is my favorite of them.
Oh God, I am so bored today, there is nothing to do.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to burn down the nearby forest, then people will be sorry that they dare to mess with me.
You'd think someone this rich and this addicted to the internet would know how it works better. I know it's puerile of me, but it's satisfying knowing these two are so bothered by their Google results. Finally, let's get into her social media. Here's a Twitter on which Bella follows me, and I'm so flattered. She's likely intermittently script kidding to post there as she does on other accounts, but she posted under a YouTube of the same name to let me know she intends to turn Gutsy Sonichu, whom you might remember from the lookalike nonsense, into her pawn. Thankfully, Gutsy goes his own way, God bless. Additionally, she still uses the same Discord accounts that have been tracked to death. But what you've probably stuck around this long for is this possible new identity of hers, Maxine Sidero. This was first pointed out by Kiwi farmer Maradontia. It was discovered that Bella was using a fake Instagram extensively with heavily doctored pictures under the name Maxine Sidero. That account was even following her best friend, Jasmine Velez. She also wrote at least one fake Medium article that praises this Max Sidero identity as a rising star in STEM along with 2 actual students. Once she realized Kiwi Farms was paying attention, she privated the Instagram and progressively made her profile pictures more grossly edited. She's also made weird Facebooks with weird names, and honestly that's about as interesting as it is to me. If it's a legitimate attempt at establishing a new identity, then she's already lost. It's irrevocably tied to Isabella Janke now. If it's a mere red herring, which is what I suspect, then congratulations, Bella, ever the mastermind. I'd like to leave with this, since a few of you asked about it and a few more of you will infer it. No, a possible Bella lawsuit wasn't the reason I stopped crapping out bad videos. I wasn't just repeating a line for fun when I said I'm not a content creator. I have a full-time career and various interests. Liken me making videos to having a bowel movement. I shit when I feel like it. Human laxatives like Bella, Dale, and Gibi gave me diarrhea for a few months there, but my default state is constipated. I guess I've been eating my fiber this month. Disgusting metaphor aside, point is, it's normal. Temper your expectations of me. I'm a nobody, and I much more enjoy spectating than participating. One thing that does make it easier to step away is that whether it's a Gibi fan trying to swat you or misfeasors trying to ingratiate themselves with you, a surprising number of bad actors will latch onto you because you get a small amount of views on YouTube. At the same time, I must express my gratitude to those of you who supported this eternally sinking ship in some form. Ghost, TDOS, Antizero, Emo Bussy Femboy, great name, Surtur, Lio Convoy, Celibate Sahara, Gypsy, Jay, Mr. Kearney, Felden, Kai Zizan, Hood Hustler, Jed, The Bride, Fullbender Network, Randy Butternums, Annis, Sneaks, Hacky, Clay, Big P, Sora, Smokey McCrack, and even Angry Slug. I never consider you guys fans. I consider you friends. Being able to point to you guys and say this shit meant something to them means that this was worth it in some form, so thank you.
So cook, see, and dilate about it. You fucking ghoul.